Like many budding watch enthusiasts, I tend to gravitate towards diving watches. They make up pretty much half of my small collection, and as you can see, I'm wearing one today, namely the Orient Kamasu in burgundy. Also, like many other watch enthusiasts, I like brands with heritage, and I don't have unlimited disposable income to fund this passion. So that's where this brand comes in, Longines. I've bought this watch 3 years ago. I just wanted to show you how the box looks like. It's a nice combination of kind of navy and beige faux leather with a wooden plaque with Longines printed on it. So the brand was founded in 1832 in the Swiss town of Saint-Imier, a location where the company still resides today. In 1854, the nephew of the founder took over the company, and 12 years later, a new production facility was opened on the outskirts of Saint-Imier, in a region called Longines, or the Long Meadows in English, and that's where the name comes from. The company was so successful that the name Longines was patented in 1880, thus making it the first registered watch brand. And the logo was also registered in 1889. The winged hourglass is the oldest trademark watch logo and can still be found on Longines watches up until this day. So as you can see on the case back, we have the original logo. Have you ever wondered, if you've seen any ads from Longines, why so many of them have an equestrian or a gymnastics theme? The answer is that the brand was involved in horse racing since 1881 with the invention of the single pusher chronograph. Gymnastics is equally important in the brand history. Since 1912, when Longines was the brand used for the Federal Gymnastics Festival in Basel. So this is a Longines Hydroconquest, which brings me to the, let's say, the last historical fact about the company, namely the fact that the Conquest line, or the name, was introduced in 1954, and it was the first attempt by a watch company to let's say categorize its product strategy according to model lines. So these were just a few facts about the brand, which hopefully will be enough to give you an impression of the vast heritage of Longines. Nowadays, the brand is part of the Swatch Group, and it is placed in the high range, namely an entry-level luxury brand. So it offers a taster of the, let's say, the luxury world without costing an arm and a leg, which is why I like it. This watch in question is a Hydroconquest. It's a revamped version of the Hydroconquest, which was released in 2017, I believe. At that point in time, it reduced in size. It is now a 39mm, or it now has a 39mm version, let's say. The lug to lug is 47.8. The thickness is 12mm, and the lug width is 19. So a few odd dimensions there, namely the lug to lug, which is quite big for such a small diameter watch face. But I think it works quite well because the lugs are quite curved, and the odd lug width of 19mm, but that never really bothered me, to be honest with you. The bracelet doesn't taper, so it's 19mm all along, and then it goes up to 20mm at the, or actually 20.5mm at the clasp. The clasp itself is milled, and it does have a diver's extension, so true diver watch really. As it says both on the clasp and on the watch face, it is rated for 30 bar or 300 meters. Yeah, coming back to the bracelet, it's a mix of brushed and polished, which doesn't really appeal to me, but at the same time it hasn't bothered me enough to not wear it. Another change in 2017 was the addition of Longines caliber L888, which is a version of the ETA 2892, which is another reason why I really like this version of the Hydroconquest, because the ETA 2892 is usually reserved for the higher end watches of the Swatch group, so brands from the prestige and luxury echelon, let's say, brands like Omega, for example. So it has a power reserve of 64 hours, which I found is more than enough to leave it for a couple of days without worrying too much. So you could wear it throughout the week, leave it for the weekend, and then come back Monday and it's still going, which is quite a nice thing to have. It's got an aluminium bezel as well. There was yet another revamp, I think, in 2019 of the Hydroconquest range, where they introduced a ceramic bezel. But as I said, I've had this watch for 3 years and the bezel looks pretty much brand new, as does the watch head, to be honest with you. No real scratches to mention. The bracelet does have a few scratches, but again, nothing to write home about. Yeah, so it really takes a beating, to be honest. That was just a small overview of the watch. I think it's a very good value proposition for those that want a taster of, let's say, a higher end brand or watch, and without, let's say, spending too much. Some points that could be improved from my point of view, they're all related to the bracelet. I found that the wearability is slightly compromised by the fact that the bracelet doesn't taper. So when you, actually I'll put it on the left hand. So when you do wear it, it tends to feel bulkier than it is because of the humongous clasp and the fact that the bracelet doesn't taper. But due to the curvature of the lugs, the wearability is quite good. Another thing that kind of displeases me visually is the fact that the bracelet is a mix of brushed and polished. I would have preferred it to be fully brushed. I think that would have worked with the design of the watch a lot better. So yeah, that was just a small overview of the brand and of the watch. And as I said, I highly recommend Longines, and I think everyone who has a chance to experience one should really do so. So thank you very much, and let me know if you have any questions.